It was pitch dark around 11 p.m. on the 22nd December 1949 outside the Babri Masjid at Ayodhya. The town has already slept in peace and the night was cold. Abhiram Das, along with his team of 3, climbed the walls of the Babri Masjid. The idea was to stealthily get inside the Babri Masjid and plant a Ram idol below the central dome of the masjid and keep the masjid under their control until the next morning when a huge crowd of Hindu communalists would arrive to support them. This is the story of the planning and the execution of the capture of the Babri Masjid by the Hindu communalists in 1949 as explained in the book Ayodhya, The Dark Night by Dhirendra Jha and Krishna Jha. They have been clearly instructed that they should enter the temple before the midnight when there will be a change of guard. Every detail was meticulously planned. According to the plan, Abhiram Das was supposed to meet a person named Vrindavan Das who will carry a Ram lalla or a Ram statue with him. Abhiram Das included his cousins Hindu Shekhar Jha and Yugal Kishore Jha in the plan. The 4 of them successfully entered the mosque before the change of guard. They attacked the muezzin of the mosque, Muhammad Ismail. The muezzin, not able to defend himself, ran away to save his life. At the same hour, even before the planting of the Ram statue by Abhiram Das, a man named Gopal Singh Visharadh, the president of the Faizabad unit of All India Hindu Mahasabha, was at the printing press owned by Brahmadev Shastri. For those of you who do not know, Faizabad district is where Ayodhya is located. He was getting posters and pamphlets ready for conveying the message that announces the miraculous appearance of Ram Lalla at the Babri Masjid. His duty was to distribute the pamphlets in the neighboring towns of Ayodhya and exhort the Hindus to throng to the Ram Janmabhoomi to witness the miraculous appearance of Lord Rama. Why did the Hindu Mahasabha wanted to distribute pamphlets in the neighboring towns of Ayodhya? After stealthily planting the Ram Lalla below the central dome of the Babri Masjid, Hindu Mahasabha wanted to protect the statue from being removed by the government or by the Muslims. So they gathered Hindu crowds by falsely declaring that a miracle had taken place. 12 hours before the planting of Ram Lalla at the Babri Masjid, a train that is headed to Calcutta stopped at the Nagpur railway station. A small crowd gathered to receive their leader, who is on his way to the 28th Congress of the All India Hindu Mahasabha, which was to take place on the 24th of December at Calcutta. He is none other than V.D. Savarkar. Savarkar was arrested due to the suspicion of his association in the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi on January 30th, 1948. V. Savarkar, even after his release in early 1949, he remained quiet and had removed himself from any political action for 6 months. But on this day, he addressed the crowd with renewed vigor. He said, "Our goal of Akhand Bharat is nearer to us. The talk of a secular state is absurd in a country inhabited largely by the Hindus. It is their proud task to establish the Hindu Rashtra." The use of the term Hindu Rashtra was removed by the All India Hindu Mahasabha in all its meetings and resolutions after the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. On the night when the Ram Lalla is to be planted at the Babri Masjid, Savarkar used it again after a gap of 22 months. So, is he the mastermind behind the planting of the Ram Lalla at the Babri Masjid? Let's explore further. In 1947, a yajna was organized by the Maharaja of Balrampur at his residence. The Maharaja Pateshwari Prasad Singh had invited Mahant Digvijay, the General Secretary of the Hindu Mahasabha, and KKK Nair, the District Magistrate of the Gunda district, for the yajna. Among them were many other Hindu religious leaders. On the last day of the yajna, the 3 kingpins, the Mahant, the Maharaja of Balrampur, and the District Magistrate discussed and planned the capturing of the Babri Masjid. But with the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi, their plans had to be suspended to a later date. The District Magistrate KKK Nair, an ICS officer, had promised to do everything to accomplish this task. He also helped the Hindu Mahasabha buy a lot of land in and around Faizabad and Gunda districts for the same purpose. The Mahant, who is the leader of the 3 kingpins, was considered as a politically cunning sadhu of the 20th century. He belonged to the Ramanandi Vairagis, and in one of his interviews to the Statesman, his words even shook some of the leaders of the Hindu Mahasabha. He said, if the Mahasabha attain political power in India, it will deprive the Muslims the right to vote for 5 to 10 years, the time required by them to convince the government that their interests are always pro-Indian. But why did the Hindu Mahasabha wanted to plant a Ram Lalla in the Babri Masjid? This is an important landmark event to fabricate a confabulation in the minds of the Hindus. Until the planting of the Ram statue inside the Babri Masjid, the two important events that occurred before did not rally the Hindus to the cause of capturing the Babri Masjid. Let's explore each of them in brief. The first event. Before the stealthy planting of the Ram statue, the Ram Chabutra, a platform that was located 100 paces away from the Babri Masjid, was worshipped as the Ram Janmabhoomi by the Hindus. The origins of the Ram Chabutra was linked to the revolt of 1857. During the revolt, when the British lives were in danger due to the Indian revolutionaries, some of the Mahants and landlords offered refuge to the British in the Faizabad district. After the successful suppression of the revolt by the British, these Mahants were appropriately rewarded with government lands near the mosque. One of the Mahants took over the ownership of these lands near the Babri Masjid and built a platform, or what is known as the Ram Chabutra. Starting from the 30th November 1858, the local Muslims had lodged 5 complaints at different times against the illegal construction of the platform inside the compound of the Babri Masjid. Since the construction of the platform, the Ramanandi Vairagis claimed only the Chabutra to be the birthplace of Ram. This status spontaneously changed to the Babri Masjid's location under the central dome after the planting of the Ram Lalla on the 22nd December 1949. The second event. In 1934, a news of cow slaughter at a nearby village of Shahjahanpur sparked off a Hindu-Muslim riot. During the riots, a part of the masjid was damaged by a section of Hindus. This incident was not enough to provide fodder for Hindu mobilization even in Ayodhya. But since this event, Hindu mobs constantly harassed Muslims who went to pray at the Babri Masjid. But at this time, a strangely surprising situation helped the Hindu communalists to rally the Hindus together for the construction of Ram Temple at Ayodhya. It came from within the so-called secular Indian National Congress Party. The event was the by-election at the Faizabad district in June 1948. Acharya Narendra Dev, a very close friend of Nehru from the Congress Socialist Party, contested the election against Baba Raghav Das of Congress. The Acharya was an atheist with staunchly secular leanings. Govind Vallabh Pant, the Premier of the United Provinces, now known as Uttar Pradesh, due to his old rivalry with Acharya Narendra Dev, openly used the communal card to rally support for Baba Raghav Das of Congress. This was the first time in the history of independent India when Congress used religion to exhort the Hindus to vote against Acharya Narendra Dev, making a propaganda that he is an atheist who does not believe in Lord Ram. Baba Raghav Das won the election, and this event mobilized the Hindus together in the Faizabad district. It laid the fertile ground for the Ayodhya adventure for Hindu Mahasabha. Looking at these developments in UP, the Prime Minister Nehru was deeply hurt. He remarked, "The UP is becoming a foreign land for me. I do not fit in that. The UP Congress Committee, with which I have been associated for 35 years now, functions in a manner which amazes me. Its voice is not the voice of Congress I have known, but something which I have opposed for the greater part of my life. Communalism has invaded the mind and hearts of those who are the pillars of the Congress." Further, on the 28th October 1949, the All India Ramayan Mahasabha organized an unusual public meeting. Abhiram Das, the leader of the Ayodhya Knights adventure, and Gopal Singh Visharadh belonged to the All India Ramayan Mahasabha. On the last day of the Nava part, which is also known as the reciting of the Ramcharitmanas or the story of Rama, they said that a similar Nava part would be organized at the Ram Chabutra on 24th November 1949, the day of the Rama Vivah. This is the first time such an event was organized at Ram Chabutra. This marks the strangeness of the event. According to Bhaskar Das, who was present at the meeting, Baba Raghav Das, who headed the meeting, said that the Nava part was to persuade Ram Lalla, or the statue of the infant Ram placed at the Ram Chabutra, to shift itself to the original location inside the Babri Masjid. Strange, isn't it? Not many in the meeting realized that the Hindu Mahasabhites had clearly rolled out the blueprint for the planting of the Ram Lalla idol at the Babri Masjid 2 months before the event on December 22nd, 1949. Let's get back now to the night of the event. Abhiram Das, with his team of 3, had successfully planted the Ram Lalla below the central dome of the Babri Masjid. KK Nair, who had promised to help the Hindu Mahasabhites in this, was the district magistrate at Ayodhya at this time. He entered the mosque around 3 or 4 am after Abhiram Das and his team had successfully planted the idol. The cousin of Abhiram Das, Avadh Kishore Jha, shared his story of what he saw at the Babri Masjid. Around 5 am in the morning, he saw Abhiram Das tightly holding the Ram Lalla and sitting on the floor. Beside him were 3 or 4 sadhus, and there stood KKK Nair delivering some instructions. He heard KKK Nair say to Abhiram Das, "Maharaj, don't move from here. Don't leave Ram Lalla alone. Tell everybody to raise the slogan that Ram Lalla is hungry." As per the statement of Avadh Kishore Jha, the cousin of Abhiram Das, KKK Nair was in full control of the mosque and was making his point with a belligerent finger. The district magistrate was the first to reach the mosque after Abhiram Das had successfully accomplished his task. KKK Nair made this information public only at 10:30 am. By that time, as per the plan of Gopal Singh Visharadh, the posters and the pamphlets spreading the news of the miracle of the appearance of Lord Ram had reached the nearby villages, and hordes of Hindu Muslims surrounded the mosque. Instead of quickly taking action to remove the idols and arrest the culprits, KKK Nair threatened the government that riots may break out if any such action was taken. The Hindus successfully captured the mosque, and since that day, Muslims were never allowed to pray at the Babri Masjid. 2 days later, at the 28th Congress of the Hindu Mahasabha, its president N.B. Khare made some bold statements after 2 years of the party's suspension of political activity. He said that the party was now entering the field of politics with the ideology of the cultural state of Hindu Rashtra. He also remarked that the Muslims should be regarded as second-class citizens and that there should be a change in the constitution. In the historic 2020 verdict of the Babri Masjid case, the Supreme Court's bias was evidenced by the way it rejected Allahabad High Court's proposal in 2010 to share the land between Muslims and Hindus. Unfortunately, instead of factoring in the December 22nd, 1949 episode as a crime by Hindu communalists, the judges saw it as one more proof in favor of the Hindus who looked at Babri Masjid as Ram's birthplace. The events leading to the Dark Night episode is explained wonderfully well by Krishna Jha and Dhirendra Jha in their book Ayodhya, Dark Night.